Hey guys, let's go. Today we're going to talk about Escape from Tarkov. Escape from Tarkov is a first-person shooter game, FPS, that has gotten really popular recently. You might not even like playing it, but if you enjoy war movies, you have to watch the short film Raid, which is a short film, not exactly a short film, but a 1-hour movie based on the game Escape from Tarkov. Okay, that's true. A lot of movies based on games are terrible, but this one is worth it. It's worth it because there's a lot of action. The basic premise of the game, and also the movie, right, is the fight for Tarkov in the Norvinsk region in the northwest of Russia. Right, that's fictional. Tarkov is a fictional region, right? It would be a special economic zone that served as a gateway between Russia and Europe. So the place attracted several corporations, some of them quite shady, right? And the city of Tarkov then became the epicenter of various scandals involving several corporations. Soon, armed conflict broke out, mainly due to the use of military companies, the PMCs, private military contractors, or private military companies. And of these, two are the main ones in the game. There's USEC, which was hired by Terra Group, one of the corrupt corporations that wants to interfere with investigations that would be taking place in the area. Investigations that could incriminate them. The other company is BR. BR was hired by the Russian government to find evidence that would incriminate Terra Group. The use of PMCs by the Russian government. Well, anyone who has looked for information about the Ukraine conflict in 2022 already has some idea about the relationship between PMCs and the Russian government. But here, this is just a game. It has nothing to do with that. The idea behind using BR here is different. The idea of using these PMCs here is something else, alright? Well, but in the movie focuses precisely on the group of Russians from BR on a mission in Intercordia. It starts with the soldiers getting ready. They check their equipment, they gather in the hangar. And it also focuses on the memories of Skif, who is their main member. Then other characters start to appear. There are other minor characters like Athlete, Deem, Serb, and Voron. This group, this squad they have, will end up meeting Zek's forces. Oh, and Zek. The conflicts are really interesting. There are some really intense and well done action scenes, guys. You have to watch it because those scenes are really cool. And we can even watch and react to those scenes here. So we can get an idea of how to use those strategies in airsoft. To see how cool and interesting that is. For example, look here. Look at this hallway. Look at this hallway. Notice how they walk down the hallway. And each one has their own position and the correct distance. Guys, in a hallway, you have to keep the right distance between each person. Why? Because if you don't, if you stay right behind someone like this, suddenly, what could happen? When it's time to shoot, you might end up shooting your teammate's shoulder or arm. These are some recommendations you even see from the military. You'll maintain distance based on your position, the number of people, and available space in the hallway. You end up shoulder to shoulder with the other person to check the distance and everyone's position. But you always have to keep the correct position and the right distance to avoid friendly fire. And notice how he gets to the end of the hallway and changes his line of sight. He changed his line of sight so he could hit the enemies right after. Moving past the scenes point, check out this strategic retreat. Okay, just wait till you see what happens later in the movie. But pay attention to this strategic retreat, it's really cool. First, there's the grenade. A grenade was thrown. Bam, the grenade exploded there. That already serves as a distraction. And right after, always signaling. Who's going to come out, the position they're going to come out from, how they're going to come out. And always keeping up the fire and keeping the focus and the observation. He can't be coming out and looking over there, looking to the other side and being distracting. No, keep the focus. To prevent people from coming at us. And that's how they keep their focus. And they're able to retreat there. At this moment, at this stage. Very interesting. Another really cool point here is on the stairs. Stairs, guys. Stairs are usually short sections you move up inside buildings, inside CQB, right? Not that the hallways are much bigger, but they're dangerous spots. But notice how he goes up the stairs and the importance of the handgun he's using there. Look, a handgun. Guys, it's really important so you don't have that thing where the barrel shows up first, you know? The handguard shows up first, then you appear and people have already seen you and you didn't notice. Or really when you're going to maneuver that weapon, this point is very important. It makes the movement easier. And look how quickly he checks. Look, he checks around, without staring and without taking too long. And always with your sights up, ready to fire. Watch this part. They're advancing, they're making progress, so they're moving forward, each in their own position. Each one in their sector of responsibility and watching their point. Not everyone is looking in the same direction. Because this happens a lot in airsoft squads. Everyone is standing still looking at the same spot, like a bunch of sitting ducks, all looking at the same spot. A guy sneaks up from behind and kills everyone unexpectedly. Look, it's always important to keep that in mind. Everyone has their own responsibility in the squad. Don't forget any of the points where the enemy can shoot from. Now let's talk about the loadout. We're going to talk about Skif's loadout, which is the one that shows up the most in the movie. Alright? Since he appears more, we also have more pictures to show here. Alright? Besides Skif, I'll also talk about the weapons used by two of the others later on. And weapons that I think are cool and everything. That I think are cool to show later as well. But let's start with Skif's outfit. Skif uses what we call a PMC loadout in airsoft. When we talk about a PMC loadout in airsoft, we mean that the person isn't wearing a full camouflage uniform, but instead uses pieces that will blend together. And mainly pieces that are similar to civilian clothes, right? And you can mix that. We call this PMC. It doesn't mean that these clothes have to be cheap or just regular civilian clothes, no. Many times they're actually tactical clothes, but they don't have those camouflage patterns. That indication that it's military standard. But it's something that can be used by military personnel. And mercenaries often wear clothes like that. The jacket, for example. It's a black jacket, apparently very suitable for the cold. I'm not very familiar with brands, but I actually went to look in the forums where people discussed these loadouts to check. What people mentioned a lot that Skif uses is the Anatactical Yaktut soft shell. It's a jacket from this brand called Anatactical. Anatactical is a Russian manufacturer of military equipment. This jacket is well suited for low temperatures, but not for extreme temperatures. Some people said it might be a Pentagon Artax. But it makes much more sense for him to wear Russian-made clothing. The pants are in the Artax FG pattern, which is a very common camouflage in the Russian army, and it's also used by the Chechens. Some of them come with olive green gaiters. At one point, I even thought these pants might actually be Gorka pants, from the Gorka outfit, right? I even thought they could be. But after seeing it, I agreed with the guys there. It really just looks like a regular Artax FG pants with those gaiters. He also wears some knee pads, Spaz-Esplave, which are knee pads you can put on and take off, right? With elastic bands there, so you can really secure them on your knees. Different from the knee pads on the G3 or G4 uniforms. The American ones, which we see, are actually built into the pants. Now let's move on to something more tactical. The plate carrier. Skif's plate carrier vest. It's the ANA Tactical M2 with Artax FG camouflage. It already matches well with the pants. It has a magazine pouch facing this way, towards the platform this way. There's also a pistol magazine pouch there to remove it easily and to be able to reload the pistol, which will be connected to the Z Tactical headset. I'm not sure if the brand is actually Z Tactical, but there are a lot of clone headsets like these that we see, those headsets there. We can also talk here about the tactical belt, the Artax Vector TV106. Of course, it has several modules. Among these modules, there are some pouches and a drop mag for dumping magazines. But let's move on to the weapons. Let's talk about the weapons, which are the coolest part. I like the vest and camouflage too. I like the whole loadout, but the weapons are what people are really interested in. Let's start with this knife, which is a Glockfield FM78. It stays attached to the shoulder, ready to be drawn. It actually looks like a pretty easy move to make, and I don't remember seeing this in any other movie. Which other movie uses the knife like this on the vest too? Let me know and leave it in the comments. Skif's primary weapon is a K103 with a silencer. The K103 is a 7.62 derived from the AK-74M. It started being produced in 1994 and has an effective range of about 500 meters. On this AK, he installed an OTEC Ampeg 15. It already comes with a flashlight, red laser, and also infrared. These will be very important for lighting to indicate position. For aiming, he uses a red dot 553, which is a red dot, I think. Cool. It's nice to use. It gives a good view, good sight picture. The weapon also has a vertical grip, right, to finish off this weapon setup. And I personally don't really like the vertical grip. I prefer the angled grip, or just holding the weapon's handguard. When you use a vertical grip, my feeling is that you move a lot and lose a bit of accuracy because the weapon becomes very mobile at the front. That's just how I feel when I'm using the weapon in airsoft. That's my impression. Tell me, what do you guys think? Do you feel the same way? Or do you prefer to use a vertical grip anyway? What do you think? Oh, and the stock, guys. The stock. The stock isn't the conventional type for this kind of AK. It's a MOL carbine stock. It's from Magpul, so it's a different stock and I think it's much cooler. An AK with a stock like this than an AK with those conventional fixed stocks. Out of curiosity, I want to talk about two other guns here. One is Mauser's, which I think is really cool. It's a KS-74U, which is a shorter version of the K-74. It was created for paratrooper troops, and I thought that was really cool because I think it's cool, this short AK like that. He uses, as a sight accessory, red dot EOTech. The effective range of this KS-74U is about 300 meters. So it's a shorter range than the regular AK-74. I'll also mention here, Demon's Weapon. Demon's Weapon is an AK-103. It's worth mentioning because it has a drum mag. So you can shoot as much as you want. For aiming, he uses a red dot with a magnifier. And that lets you see farther. And it has an M4 stock. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video talking about loadouts. It's been a while since I made a loadout video here, but I really like this Tarkov movie. Who didn't? If you haven't watched it, watch it to have some fun. It's free on YouTube. I'll leave the link in the pinned comment. Did you like the video? Do you want to see more loadout videos? Leave your suggestion, explain it, tell me. There are more coming. I'm working on the script here. I'm studying so I can come up with something cool too. And leave your suggestions. Please share this video. Please comment. Leave a big like if you can. If you like the channel and all that, consider becoming a channel member. Because a channel that talks about weapons and war stuff usually has really bad monetization on YouTube. So you help me keep producing content here. Alright? Thank you very much, everyone. Hugs to all of you.